Sometimes truth walks in quietly, dressed in worn shoes, carrying nothing but dignity. And sometimes the people who laugh the loudest are the ones who will bow in shame when the truth finally comes out. Before you judge the man in front of you, listen closely till the end, because what happened that afternoon will change the way you see kindness forever. Before we begin, take a deep breath and whisper to yourself, kindness still exists. If your heart agrees, type kindness still exists in the comments right now, because this story will remind you that compassion is never wasted. It was a cold afternoon in the heart of the city. The streets glittered with Christmas lights, but for one weary single father, the world had lost its warmth long ago. His jacket was torn at the sleeves, his shoes carried the scars of too many long walks to work. Beside him, a little girl, no more than 7, clutching his hand like it was the only safety she knew. Her name was Lila. Her smile was small, but bright enough to melt any heart, except, it seemed, the hearts of those who judged by appearances. "Daddy," she whispered, her breath forming tiny clouds in the cold air, "can we just look at the pretty things today? I don't need anything big." The man smiled faintly. "Well, look, sweetheart. It's your birthday. You deserve a little dream." They pushed open the gleaming glass doors of a luxury store, the kind of place where perfume floated in the air like money and the floors shone like mirrors. But the moment they stepped in, silence followed. Eyes turned, whispers began, and a quiet cruelty filled the air. 2 saleswomen at the counter exchanged a knowing glance. One smirked, the other leaned closer and whispered, "Maybe he's lost." Another customer chuckled softly, clutching her designer purse tighter. The father's smile faltered, but he held Lila's hand tighter. "Let's just see what they have," he murmured. "We'll be quick." But the whispers grew louder. "He doesn't belong here. Security should keep an eye on that one." Even the guard near the door frowned. Lila tugged at her father's sleeve, her voice trembling. "Daddy, why are they laughing?" He knelt down, brushing her hair from her face. "Sometimes people laugh because they don't understand, honey. But that doesn't mean we stop believing we belong." She nodded softly, trying to be brave. Then came the voice that shattered what little pride he had left. "Sir, if you can't afford anything here, please leave. You're making the other customers uncomfortable." The store chuckled. Lila looked up at her father, her eyes full of confusion. He swallowed hard. "We'll just be quick," he said softly, though his voice trembled. The other saleswoman smirked. "Quick? There's nothing quick about dreams you can't buy." That laughter, it stung deeper than any insult. But still he refused to walk away. Not today. Not on her birthday. Just when the humiliation felt unbearable, a deep voice echoed across the marble floor. "What's going on here?" The laughter froze, the air shifted. Every head turned toward the back of the store. A tall man in an immaculate black suit walked briskly forward. His presence commanded silence. The store owner had arrived. One saleswoman rushed to him, her voice dripping with fake concern. "Sir, this man came in looking suspicious. We thought—" The owner raised his hand. "Enough," he said firmly. "Let me see him." When their eyes met, the owner stopped mid-stride. His expression changed from irritation to shock. He whispered to himself, barely audible, "It can't be him." For a moment, time seemed to rewind. The owner's mind drifted back years to a stormy night when he was younger, broke, stranded, and hungry. He remembered sitting under a leaking bus stop, shivering when a stranger offered him food, a warm coat, and a kind word. That stranger was this very man. Now, standing in his glittering store, realization struck like lightning. The man his staff mocked was the one who had once saved him from despair. The crowd stood frozen, unaware of the silent recognition between them. Then the owner's voice thundered, "Everyone, stop!" He walked straight to the poor man and, to everyone's shock, placed his hand on his shoulder. "Do you know who this man is?" the owner said, his voice echoing through the marble halls. "When I was nothing, he helped me. He gave me food when I was starving, hope when I had none." Gasps filled the air. The sales staff turned pale. Lila clutched her father's arm, whispering, "Daddy, what's happening?" He simply shook his head, too overwhelmed to speak. The owner turned to his trembling employees. "This man is worth more than all the gold in this building, and you dared to mock him?" No one spoke. Shame covered every face. Then the owner knelt beside little Lila. "Sweetheart," he said gently, "today is your birthday, isn't it?" She nodded shyly. "Then pick anything you want. It's yours, no charge." Lila blinked in disbelief. "Anything?" He repeated with a kind smile. "Anything." The girl looked around, her eyes scanning glittering shelves of diamonds and gold, but she didn't move toward them. Instead, she stopped at a small silver locket. Simple and elegant. She picked it up and whispered, "This is enough." The store went silent again, but not this time from judgment, but from respect. The father's eyes filled with tears. He turned to the owner, his voice trembling. "Thank you for remembering me, for seeing us." The owner smiled softly. "You saved me when I had nothing. Today, I just returned the favor." As the father and daughter walked out, heads turned again, but not in mockery this time. People moved aside. The same ones who laughed now lowered their eyes in shame. Outside, snow began to fall. Lila looked up at her father and whispered, "You see, Daddy, you didn't need to buy anything fancy. You already gave me the best gift, a kind heart." He smiled, finally free of the weight of humiliation. And as they walked hand in hand into the cold afternoon, the world didn't feel so cruel anymore. That day, the richest man in the store wasn't the one with the suit. It was the one who had nothing but kindness and gave it freely. Because compassion doesn't expire. It waits quietly until the right moment to return. So before you laugh at someone's struggle, remember, you might be mocking the very person who will one day save you. If this story touched your heart, don't just scroll away. Type "kindness still exists" in the comments below. Like this video to spread the message. And subscribe for more real, emotional stories that remind us what truly matters. Because sometimes the poorest man carries the richest soul.